And we are officially live, man. Good evening. This is what's the November the 16th, 2023. What's good with Larry, Gil, and Larry? And I just want to get at the topics at hand, man. I had a topic I want to bring to you, man, because it hit me because we just had the MLB MVPs of the year. On the AL side, Ohtani won it, which is no surprise, right? And then on the NL side, Roy Acuna Jr. won it. You know what I mean? They both had outstanding years, you know. My question to you is, though, back in the day, back in the olden days when sports kind of started, right? And it was a big thing about keeping certain players or keeping this an American sport, quote unquote American, whatever that means, right? Now, my question to you is, what sport can you think of right now that you could say is an American sport and is being dominated by Americans?
Ooh, dominated by
Americans.
Wow.
Only one I could think of that I could say being dominated by the Americans. Only one I could think of.
So let me go through it. So we got two foreigners who won the MVP in the AL and NL. So Major League Baseball, they're out.
Yeah, they're out.
The NBA, I still think generally, in totality, the best players are from America, but I see the argument because we have foreigners that are at the top of the food chain. You can argue that the top 5 guys are not American. Indeed. You really can.
Yeah.
Let's see, the NFL. The NFL might still be the one where the Americans are still on top. You got to go quarterback.
Yeah.
And I'm not thinking of any top quarterbacks that aren't American.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking of any top defensive players that aren't American. So, I mean, there are obviously guys from Canada and all over the place. But I would say like the top guys and generally the Americans are still number one. Not hockey. It hasn't been hockey. Hockey's been the one that the foreigners have been the best players. In particular, Canada and Russia.
In Russia,
they've been like the top 2.
Yeah.
America has kind of gone into maybe third place within the last 20 years. But they're not number 1.
That's a fact.
Sure. That's Canada. That's Canada all day, every day. So I'm going to still stick with football. I'm trying to think of other sports. In MMA, it's the same thing. It's
foreigners.
It's foreigners, in particular Brazilians.
Yep.
They're probably in totality and at the top for the most part.
Yep.
Couple of Europeans there too that are at top, like trying to think, in boxing, I think when the Klitschko's took over, that was a changing of the guard, and you had 2 of them.
That's a fact. Canelo was the lead.
Anthony Joshua's not American.
He's not American.
Canelo King, Tyson Fury is not American.
Canelo's not American.
Canelo's not American.
So only American champion I think of now that I could think of is Crawford's American.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Can't think of nobody outside of Crawford right now. I mean, Charlo is still champion. Charlo's still champion.
But if you're thinking about the top guys,
the top guys are international. Yeah.
Outside of Crawford, I'm not. I mean, even Lomachenko, not American.
No.
Obviously.
I mean, Haney took the belts, but at the end of the day, I mean, not even Haney. The Australian took the belt. A matter of fact, it was Lopez that took it. Then,
but then he lost.
Then he lost. He lost to the Australian. It's
Australian, not American.
So I was. It just hit me. I'm like, man, that's crazy because I know back in the Jackie Robinson, which was major for Jackie Robinson to bridge the gap of baseball, because at that point it was just an all-European league, right? Now, 200 years later, whatever 100 years later, it's dominated by international players. Like, would you ever think what I know they never thought in a million years that the MVP of the MLB would be from overseas, and both of them can't even speak English.
Well, I wouldn't say never, because there's been a large population of Latinos
Indeed.
and Hispanics since the 70s, I would
70s,
say.
yeah.
So I'm not too surprised. First of all, I'm a little surprised that Ohtani won it, because he missed the third of the season.
That he did. But
and he still got it.
Yeah.
That surprised me a little bit.
Who else?
I can't say I'm totally surprised. Where I think I'm most surprised right now is the NBA.
Oh man!
Because the NBA for me, the NBA 80s and 90s, especially 90s, I was hardcore 90s. NBA.
Yeah.
And when there was a good European, he really stood out.
Yeah.
And I remember Drazen Petrovic when he played for the Nets.
Yep. Yeah.
I remember Tony Kukoc when he was considered the best European
when he was Chicago. Yep.
Now he wouldn't even be top 15 right now. He wouldn't even be top 15 right now.
I remember back then, them days, the European was soft. Like when you came over, they were soft.
They were considered finesse
players, right? And now the league has became a finesse league, where you got guys like the Joker who's dominating. Luka is a problem at the point guard. I mean, he's just a problem, and he plays at this Larry Bird pace. Ain't that something? He plays at a Larry Bird pace, but you can't stop him.
Right.
I remind me of Bird. Bird was notorious for playing this speed, and you couldn't stop him.
Right.
You couldn't.
And just so the listeners know, what we mean by Larry Bird speed is he wasn't fast. He wasn't super athletic, but he got to everywhere he wanted to get to on the court, and he scored on everybody that he wanted to get to. And he would predict what he was going to score in the first quarter, and he would tell the other team, "Hey, you better get a brother to cover me, because I think it's insulting. You got this white guy covering me. I might go for 50 if he covers the whole game.
Literally,
at least if you get a brother, he might keep me under 40." So that's what he used to talk about. That's how he used to trash talk. So that's what you mean by the same thing with Luka. Luka is not fast. He doesn't have a killer dribble that he just gets to that spot. He just gets there. He posts you up. He goes at his. It's a malaise, but he gets there. He gets off every shot. Larry Bird at the time at 6'9", 6'9" and a half.
Yeah.
There just wasn't going to be a small forward that was going to, block his shot.
Yeah.
And, Luka is 6'7", and he's wide. So you get these, you look at Kawhi Leonard, for example, one of the best on the ball defenders, wing guys in the league, has been for a while.
Sure.
Luka just bounces him off of him. Yeah. He just gives him a cheek and bounces him off to create space. And these thin guys, there's nothing they can do with them. There's nothing. Now Luka only really plays one side of the ball, and he dominates that side of the ball, where it's different from Larry, because Larry was very much a
he was ambidextrous. Yeah, no doubt.
Very much a facilitator. Yeah. But I hear what you're saying, and Luka is one of the top European players. Gosh, I mean, Giannis, who's already won a championship.
Yes.
Embiid, who won the MVP last year, and he's balling this year.
Oh, he's dominating.
He is doing some work.
He's playing at the level that I wanted. And I thought Nick Nurse, that's why I thought Nick Nurse was Nick Nurse was a good hire for them, because I felt that Nick Nurse was going to do what Doc Rivers didn't do, which was, you got a dominant big man, right? If you play ball like I play ball, maybe not the level of the NBA, but we know the concept of basketball. As a defender, if I got a big guy, I want him to shoot high percentage shots. Like, I want you to shoot threes. As a defender, you're bailing me out. You're not making me work for it, But if you play in the center, and I know I can't do nothing with you, pressure. And this year, and Embiid finally found his running mate. He been there the whole time, okay?
Yeah.
I was never a fan of them going to go get James Harden, as we're going to bring that whole subject up. I was never a fan of them going out there and getting a player who I felt one was over the hill, two that didn't make anybody better. You know, he didn't make anybody better. Okay, so for me, I said, man, Tyrese Maxey, since he came in, he came in with a chip on his shoulder, you know, and he's been producing and getting better every year. He's averaging 28.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give him star. You got to give him star. If that's his Robin. He's been there the whole time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Through all the fiasco, who's been consistently coming the ball? Tyrese Maxey. And you can't stop him. Like, I'm watching this game, man. He really is. I love a fearless player. You feel me? I love a person that just, look, man, I'm gonna go get this. You got to stop me, you know. And he got the green light. And you got the big man, and he know he got a dominant big man. So I can play through the big man, and the big man can count on me to deliver. So I ain't always got to do Embiid. Always ain't got to go out there and do everything. And I think for Embiid, he could play freely because it's not like, oh, I have to go out and just carry this team. I got a sidekick man that could go. And he just dropped 50. He dropped 50 in the game, bro. Like 50, you know? So that part. And then I was thinking about another thing, speaking on NBA, right? Because you know, once again, James Harden trade is, I don't know Tyronn Lue's trying to get fired. He want to give his job up. I'm confused. I really am. They had chemistry before this guy came over there. Like, they really had a chemistry, right? And now he comes in, and I think like any other team, you have to force him into your rotation, and you have to figure out what his role is going to be in your rotation. Now, do I think maybe they'll figure out eventually? Of course. I mean, it's NBA. You'll figure it out, you know. But right now, the impact is not looking promising. They're 0-5. Have they been in every game? For the most part, they've been in every game except the one game they got blown out. But outside of that, they've been competitive. But I think it's more of them trying to work him into the rotation and it's throwing everybody off, you know? And then you got them starting. You give them starter minutes. So that's another thing. You just come into here with starter minutes. And I'm like, man, these guys playing 30 plus minutes. So he's taking minutes away from guys that I felt was unproductive, you know? And it's not working. It's not working. Maybe you got to go to 6-man, make you come off the bench or something.
He's not going to agree to that right now.
He's not going to agree to that. But that's the part. That's the part right there. Are you the coach or he the coach? Because if it's not working, who are we going to bench? Westbrook? Somebody got to get benched. It's not working. You're 0-5. 0-5, you know? And then I was thinking about something, Gil, and I want to ask you this, right? Because I'm thinking about if you was to give me top 5, top 10 point guards, right? Point guards, right? Who would your top 5 point guards of all time be?
My top 5 point guards.
Yes.
Does it have to be in order, or I just got to give you 5?
Just you give me 5. I ain't gonna put the pressure on you. Give me 1 to 5, but you give me your top 5 and explain to me why they're your top 5.
Magic Johnson.
Okay.
He first of all he saved the NBA. Him and Larry Bird saved the NBA. Big time winner. Won a championship in college. Won 5 championships in the NBA. I think he went to 8 finals, 8 or 9. I can't remember. 8.
Yes.
So and his career, you know, we know why it was cut short a little bit. So who knows? He might have still had a little more juice left.
Sure.
And to me, he is Showtime because there was no Showtime before him. And to me, he is the ultimate Laker. He's the first person I think of when I think about the Lakers. And I think you can argue the Celtics, but I think in the NBA, the Lakers are the premier franchise. Could be the Celtics, but the thing with the Celtics, they won all those championships, you know, early.
Yeah, early.
And then they won a few in the 80s.
The 80s, right.
And then they only won 1 after the 80s.
Yeah.
So the Lakers to me was spread out. Once they got going, they got going. They didn't win in the 90s, but they were still good for the most part. A little dull in the mid 90s, but once they got Shaq and and Kobe, then they were back. So Anyway, so I'm gonna go Magic. Probably my number one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Oscar Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he was the best guard skill wise of his era. Number two was probably Jerry West, but Jerry West primarily played two guard.
Indeed.
And there were things that Oscar could do that Magic couldn't do. Oscar could get off his own shot better than Magic could. Oscar could shoot better than Magic could, and Oscar was a way better defender.
Indeed.
Way better. He was a complete player. He was the poor man's Michael Jordan 30 years before. Maybe not 30 years. 25 years before Michael Jordan.
Yep.
All right, so now those were the easy ones. So now you're asking me personally. I'm not going to say Cousy because he was before my time. The league was a lot less teams, and he couldn't dribble with his left hand. Sorry. All right. Maybe it'll come to me as I go through them. I'm going to say Isaiah Thomas.
Okay.
Again, super winner. He won at every level. He won at high school. He won in college at Indiana with Bob Knight. And then he won back-to-back with Detroit. And you got to think about this with Isaiah. Isaiah beat, in his prime, he beat the top guys in their prime.
He did.
He beat Magic. He beat Larry. And he beat Michael.
He did.
He beat Michael in the playoffs, I think, 3 straight years.
He did. Can't deny it.
Before they won their championship.
That's a fact.
And was that 91? The 90-91
91. You're 991. Yeah.
So and Isaiah played defense. He was a little guy. He was a terror, but don't let that smile fool you. He was a killer. He was a killer. I am going to say Steph Curry now.
Okay.
I wouldn't have said it prior to him winning this 4th championship, but when you win 4 and you're a 2-time league MVP, back-to-back years, that's pretty darn good. Obviously, he's probably the best shooter, pure shooter. He's a team guy. He's a leader. He's never in trouble. I guess the only flaw I would have with him for the most part is for a guy that's played with really good players, Clay's probably going to make the Hall of Fame. Draymond Green's probably going to make the Hall of Fame, even though in my personal opinion, he's not a Hall of Famer, but I think he's going to make it. And he's played with other guys that can score. I just kind of feel like Steph should average more assists. He only averages like 6 assists a game. To me, he should be like 8.5.
Yeah, easily.
Every game.
Easily.
Every game. So, and then when you count turnovers, to me that takes away from assists. So if you average 10, but you got 3 turnovers during the game, then to me you only average 7. Okay. So if you're only averaging 6.5, he turns the ball over here and there. So now what are you averaging, 5 or 4? That's my thing with him. In today's NBA, you try and stay in front of the guy in front of you. That's what you call defense these days. He's not really a defender. But he's a winner. He's a scorer. He's the best shooter. I'm going to put him in the top 5. Now, the 5th one is difficult.
Okay.
It's difficult. So I'm trying to go through errors. John Stockton is there. He can score. He can assist. He was a very good on-the-ball defender. I tell you, was Pistol Pete a point guard?
Pistol Pete. Was he a 2?
If he's a point guard, he's up there. I'm not sure if he's point or he's a 2.
I don't know if he was a 2.
He wasn't a winner in the NBA, but skill-wise, especially offensively, he was a Harlem Globetrotter.
Yeah.
That's what he was. He can make that ball whistle.
That's a fact.
Man, Earl the Pearl. But Earl the Pearl, later in his later years played the 2 guard. So I can't really do him. Clyde Frazier, man, he was really good. Jason Kidd, he was really good. Oh, this fifth one, I'm not gonna say Russell Westbrook. I'm not gonna say him, despite with the triple doubles.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those numbers are empty. They're empty.
Yeah.
Like Harden. Harden puts up empty numbers.
Yeah.
Puts up empty numbers.
Because of stat stuffers. Yeah.
Oh gosh. I wish I had a little time to prepare for this.
You're on the spot, right?
Oh, you put me on the spot. Oh. Let me see. 70s. Lillard's really good. Oh my gosh. Price when he was with Cleveland was good.
Yeah. Yeah, Price. Yeah.
Mark Jackson was pretty good.
Yeah, Mark Jackson.
Who's the guy in Portland that played with Clyde Drexler?
Terry
Porter.
Terry Porter. Yeah.
Was really good. I can't put him up there though. What about this might be a little bit of a stretch. What about Gary Payton? He was a complete.
Why would it be a stretch?
Complete point guard.
Why would it be a stretch?
He could give you 18 to 20. He can he could give you 8 assists
all day long.
And he was
great
for a while, as a guard goes, he was the best on the ball defender.
He was. I mean,
top 5?
Yeah, all right. I mean, my 5 was kind of easy, man. I didn't think that hard.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you why. When you talking about at the point guard position, that's a floor general.
Yeah.
A floor general is to make you one. He has to dictate the game and has to make everybody around him better. That's his job. His job is to make everybody's flow better. He's supposed to get you in your sweet spots and make it easy for you to be able to do what you do. Straight up. So when I think of that, and I'm not going to order, definitely Magic. Because Magic made everybody's game easy. He did. Freaky passes. He knew everybody's spot. He knew the floor. He controlled the pace of the game. Straight up. 2, I would say Jason Kidd. For sure.
Oh, Kidd.
For sure. I got to give Jason Kidd his due. Because he took y'all to the finals. He took y'all to the finals, brother. Twice. Indeed. Y'all had good teams, but he was the glue. And then he won a chip in Dallas. I mean, he wasn't at the same prominent position, but he was still Jason Kidd. Yeah. He made everybody game better, right? Gary Payton. Oh. He made them Sonic teams go. I'm talking about Sonic Gary Payton, not Miami Heat, Gary. Even though he got the chip in Miami, not Miami Heat or nor LA. Sonic, Seattle, Supersonics. He made everybody's game better, and he was tenacious at the defender spot. Okay. Once again, Steph for me don't. I mean, yeah, but I don't. I consider him like a 2 to me for some odd reason. I know he's not. I know he's a point, but to me, once again, yes, he is. He's a dynamic guard. But does he make everybody around him better? I don't think so. I think that he makes the game interesting for sure. But like you said, his assist isn't there. It's not like he's getting you into your sweet spots. He's going to go for his, So in that case, he was going to fall out my 5. John Stockton, for sure. For sure, John Stockton. He was the assist leader. I think he still is the assist leader. That pick and roll. That it was a simple game. It wasn't flashy, but he made everybody in that Utah system better. You know what I mean? And I could agree with you, Big O, for sure. Because once again, that was before my era. I didn't get the ball, but just looking at old highlights of him, I was like, man, he was ahead of the time. Especially for his bracket, he was ahead of the curve. So for me, that was the 5 that made my list because I was like, when I think of point guard, that's what I think of.
So you got Jason Kidd.
I do.
And John Stockton ahead of Isaiah Thomas.
I do. And I'm not knocking Zeke. I'm not knocking Zeke at all. But Zeke to me remind me of Allen Iverson, kind of. He was definitely a scorer. And yeah, he assisted too, but not to the capacity of the guys I named before him. Their game mostly was getting the other players involved, and he
He
made
played he
everybody.
played real defense.
No, he did. He
Played
did, but
real defense, and like I said, his resume with winning.
yeah,
He's one of the top players to ever come out of Chicago.
I agree.
One of the top.
I agree. I think if Derrick Rose didn't get injured in his injury, he could have made that list eventually. But I can't go off of what is. I gotta go off of what I seen and what I know. And like I said, I'm not taking nothing from Isaiah Thomas, man. He is definitely, you can't take nothing from his resume. But to me, I felt the ones that I made my list were actually people that made their teams like really better. Not saying he didn't, but he had an awesome team. He really did.
I just think his resume is because he won the championships.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's better than Stockton's, and I think it's definitely better than Kidd. Kidd won one, but he was in his twilight when he won it. I mean, that was pretty clear.
Looking at the
and Stockton never won.
Yeah,
now, he had Jordan in his way.
He did.
Twice,
he did.
But Isaiah had Jordan in his way too, and he still.
Yeah, but he caught Jordan in the early Jordan though. You know what I mean?
He caught him Jordan first half. He caught him first half.
He caught Jordan when he didn't have you got to think he caught Jordan when they didn't have good teams. Their Chicago team wasn't that good. They made the playoffs, but they wasn't over the hump Chicago.
Didn't the last two
wasn't even there at the time.
Didn't the last two times the Bulls played Detroit in the playoffs, wasn't it in the Eastern Conference Finals? Those last two? I know the last one was.
Yeah,
the one before the Bulls won the championship. I know they made it to the Eastern Conference, and I know they made it to Game 7, and that was the Scottie Pippen migraine game where Scottie didn't play because he had the migraine, and Detroit won. But I also think the year before, I think the Bulls were in the Eastern Conference Finals with them too.
Oh no! I thought they played Boston that year. The year before. I thought Detroit played Boston that year.
We'll have to check it.
We gotta check the stats on that. We don't want to make America. We don't want to misquote the information. We're definitely going to get you on information.
We don't want to put out false information.
We definitely don't. So we'll go do our research.
I think. Listen, I like your 5, so I can't be like, man, and I didn't really come up with a 5th one, which is cheese on my part. If I would have had a little bit of notice, I probably would have came up with a 5th one. Jerry West was 50-50 playing point and 2.
Yeah, that's why I didn't put him in there.
If he played more primarily point, I would put Jerry West.
Easily. He was a logo, but like
I would put him as my number 5, but I think he was like 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't do it. So I'm probably oh my gosh. Right now, I guess I'm going to say Gary Payton at 5. I think he was a little bit more of a complete player than Kidd. I think Kidd lasted longer, like skill-wise, because when Gary fell off, he really fell off quick.
Yeah.
But when he was in his prime, 80% of his career, he was a better scorer than Kidd. He was a better outside shooter. He was almost as good passing the ball, and he was just as good as an on-the-ball defender, if not better. So I would go slightly. He's got the championship, but he got it as a role player with Miami.
Yeah, it was a role player.
Kidd was a role player too, but he was a starter.
But he was starter though. It's a difference. He actually had some quality minutes. Not saying that Peyton didn't, but when Jason Kidd was on that team, he was really a catalyst to them winning that chip. Like for real, he really controlled the flow of that team. I mean, I think Devin Harris, they was both at the point guard spots.
I feel like I could do better if I have more time.
I'm sorry, America. I put him on the spot. It was literally on the spot. I just want to.
It's going to be one of these things as we do the rest of the show. I'm going to be thinking about, and we're going to be like, "Hey, Sunday at 4:05," and I'm going to blurt out a name. There it is. That's how it's going to be.
And then before we move on to the college football, right? I just want to say I have to recant one of my earlier statements when it came to the NBA in-tournament league tournament that they got going on, because once again it was something fresh and new. So at first the concept was kind of throwing me a little bit because I was like, who wants to see this, right? But then I seen exactly what this Silverman was trying to do, or Adam Silver was doing. It's competitive, man. Like it really is. Like, would have been like, it's 82 game season, so you're not always going to get your best team every night. It's going to be some days where they just don't come play. But with the in tournament play, you're getting your best shot. Like they're playing. Like I haven't seen one yet that was weak. It was like really competitive. Like because they want that midseason trophy, so they have something to play for. It's not like it was like in the past where you might play like a Detroit against Philly, right? And it might have been a straight blowout. Now it's like, no, you're going to get our best shot because it's like NFL. Any given Sunday, anybody can win. You can be top dog, but the way they got it broken down in like kind of these tiers, like I said before, they could be up there, but then you can get a team like, I don't know, Portland. Any given night to beat them in the tournament, because the seeding goes like that. You know what I mean? It's not really too much off your record. It's about, you got your record and then you got what you did in the tournament, and then you got the quarterfinals, semis, finals, and boom. So by December 9th, you're going to see, like I said before, it could be a Portland that could come out that thing. Not realistically, I don't see that happening, but I'm just giving an example. There could be somebody that's really in rebuilding mode that could have a fair shot at actually winning this NBA Cup.
Well, okay, I hear you, and it's good that they're playing, hard and they're showing up and all that, and there's a prize at the end. But why did they start it so early? They're calling it like, it's like a mid-season tournament.
Yeah.
They barely played a month before they started this tournament.
Well, I was thinking probably before for them to kind of make it to the point, because I know the championship's in December, right? That's
right.
December. I think that the end of the season, what is it, June? Do they go all the way to June for the championship?
Yeah, they go all the way into June.
Yeah, so that's 6. Yeah, so that's not really mid-season. That's like a quarter of the season.
Yeah, they played like 10-15% of the season
right.
so far.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I said, man, maybe if it was the March, yeah, but then you're right. It goes the finals ends in June, so
I feel like they started it
too
at
early.
Minimum a month too early.
Yeah.
To me, the good games should be in December. Like like on Christmas Day.
Christmas, right?
They always make a big deal about Christmas
always.
Day. They should have had big games for the tournament on Christmas Day.
I agree. Now that'd have been smart. That'd have really been smart. Yeah, I think the chip is like December 9th or something like that. It's early. So I'm like, that don't make sense.
Here's what they should have done. You ready? They should have started it Thanksgiving or like the day before Thanksgiving, right? And the championship should have ended on like right after Christmas. Like you'll have like the final 4 teams
right now
on Christmas Day, and then the championship would be before New Year's.
I'm about to say, because I know once New Year hit, that's bowl season. That's bowls kicking. So I know they probably want to compete, or that window right there, because it's hard to compete with bowls.
Yeah, but the big bowls, the ones, the playoff ones, they don't start until January.
Yeah, it's January. Yup. Yeah, you're right. So
I mean, they could have done it. I just think they did it too early.
Yeah,
because they're gonna do this tournament. It's gonna end in December, and then they're gonna try and promote a couple weeks later the Christmas games.
Yeah,
and then a month after that is the All-Star break.
Yup, it's a lot of basketball. It's a lot going on. I'm curious to see how it all comes out. I'm definitely curious, but I mean, it piqued my curiosity because I'm seeing that the level of play is actually up. Because, like I said, a lot of these games would have been mail-in games. Like, we're not playing tonight. We're tired. We're going to rest some players. You know how it go. They'll beat them by 40. It's just not entertaining. I can honestly say that every in-tournament game has been very competitive. Everyone I watched it hasn't been no blowouts. It's been really close games.
Right.
You know, and then speaking of these bowls that we was talking about, right? There's been a shakeup in the college football rankings, man, and they got Georgia now as #1 again. You got the 4. Is Ohio State or is it Michigan #2?
Michigan's 2.
Ohio State #3.
Ohio State is 3, and Florida State is 4.
Okay, what you think about that lineup? Is it worthy?
Well, man, I don't know. I think Georgia and Michigan are the top 2 teams.
Yeah.
I would probably flip them. I'll probably have Michigan 1.
As 1?
But with all this heat that's going on with Michigan right now,
nah.
We'll just leave them there at 2. It's just, Ohio State doesn't lose, and they go from 1 to 3.
Yeah.
But
But then I could see Ohio State just played. They played a team that they were supposed to beat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Michigan had a tough game against Penn State, as we knew they was going to win that game. I knew they was going to win. Georgia just dominated a ranked opponent. So I think that's what it was. They dominated that opponent. Because Georgia ended up playing, it wasn't Missouri, was it?
Mizzou?
Was it Mizzou? They just beat. I know they beat the crap out of whoever they just beat. They beat them bad. It was a ranked team that they ended up beating. Like you said, Ohio State and then Florida State won. They didn't lose, but I still think they are the 4th best. I think Washington's the 4th best team.
Well, Washington's 5.
Yeah, they are.
And Washington's only got 2 weeks. They only got 2 weeks to jump them.
Yeah. I mean, if Florida State don't lose out, I don't see it happening. That was impressive what Utah did. What Washington did with Utah. Good game.
Mm-hmm.
Real good game. It looked shady for a minute there. I thought Utah was going to be able to pull it out. I ain't going to lie to you, man. But good teams find a way to win, right? They found a way to win. Washington found a way to win. So that, to me, I was like, okay, that was decisive for me because I was like, if anybody's going to test them, I thought that would have been the test right there. Utah, because they've been their Achilles heel the last couple of years. Utah's beating them.
Utah's pretty good.
No, they're really good. They got defense. And then they got a run game. No, I mean they actually got a running back there. So they are definitely a scrappy, gritty team. It wasn't no easy game at all. But I think that's what it was. When Georgia dominated, it might have been Mizzou. When they dominated them, I already knew they should have leapfrogged them because it was like they was already on the brink of being #1 again. You know what I mean? I thought the Penn State game was impressive for Michigan, man. They went in there and handled business, man. With the run game. The run game got it done. It was strictly the running back because the quarterbacks both didn't put up big numbers, but the running back did. Kerm had a big game. So, I think that Georgia is the #1 team, in my opinion. We'll see.
How about James Franklin losing another big game and then firing his offensive coordinator?
That part.
Weak.
I mean, I get it.
Weak.
I get it. I mean, the play call was suspect. It was definitely suspect.
Do it in the offseason. Come on. You got 2 games left. Really? Really? You know what it felt like? It felt like Buffalo letting go of Dorsey.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
I mean, honestly, brother, we gonna go jump in that pool now. Honestly,
we can wait.
He should have got fired, brother. He should have got fired. Like, he should have got fired, man. Like, come on, man. Like, was Dable that good offensive coordinator? Because they look like a totally different team when he was calling plays. Ken Dorsey was too predictable, man. You don't have a run game, and then that 12 men on the field crap.
That's not him.
Personnel.
Okay. Dable was better at play calling, and he might have been better coaching up the players during the week. That's possible. But Dorsey is not throwing the interceptions. Dorsey is not the reason they had 12 men on the field. You know, so some of those things are the head coach's responsibility or other people's responsibility. Yeah, the offense hasn't been as good the last 2 years. Josh Allen hasn't been as good. We're gonna blame the interceptions on Dorsey.
No, man, we
Look
can't.
at all the turnovers he's doing.
Yeah. But I'm talking about
Total scapegoat. We could get into that more later when we do the NFL, but I didn't like it. I think that's the head coach trying to save his job. I think he's feeling a little heat,
it's definitely
and he had to do something, so he did that. But I think that's weak, dude. I think that's so weak. Again, I said it before. James Franklin loses these games. He's got 2 teams that he's got to beat at least once every year, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't beat Ohio State, and he doesn't beat Michigan, and it doesn't matter where it is.
That's a fact.
And there's, you can feast on the Big Ten, on Northwestern. You know what I mean? Michigan State hasn't been good in a little while, but what are we doing? You got Rutgers in there. That's a good way to get fat and boost up your stats all across the board by getting Rutgers in there. They had to go in there because they had to take that Big Ten money. But you have 2 teams, and it's not a rivalry. They're like, oh, this rivalry. It's not a rivalry. Michigan, Ohio State is a rivalry. Yeah. And 3 years ago, even that wasn't a rivalry because Ohio State owned them. Michigan the last 2 years has won the last 2 years. And now with, the sign stealing controversy, who knows how legit those are. I'm just saying. I don't know, man. Michigan with the the Big Ten suspending Harbaugh before the investigation from the NCAA concluded. I thought that was weak. I thought their head guy kind of crumbled under the pressure, and then Michigan was going to take him to court. They decided to just take the suspension. Hey man, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to be Maryland on Saturday.
Oh my goodness, it's going to be.
I think Michigan is going to put it on them.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
And Ohio State, Michigan the following week is going to be must-see TV.
Oh, it's going to be
must-see. The thing is, Harbaugh is allowed to coach them all throughout the week. He just can't show up game day.
Right.
He can't show up game day.
So he'll have the game plan ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me, he'll have a game plan. So I said, him not being on this sideline is really, to me, don't really matter because I believe that his coaching staff and his players will be coached up enough to know the game plan. He can't go play the game. It's situational football. And I think that he'll have his staff ready for situational football and time management. Like you said all the time, time management, situational football. That's the keys to any victory when it comes to football. So long as he sends the instructions down, I think that they'll be okay. Like he says, it's going to be a true test, though, man. Ohio State, it's going to be a great one, man. It's going to be a great one, man. This is what I'm talking about. A great one. I can't wait for next week, honestly, man. These are laugher games this weekend. But next weekend, for sure. For sure.
So I got a college football question for you.
Good.
We kind of talked about this maybe last week. If not, then it was the week before. But I think it was last week. So on Saturday, North Carolina is going to play Clemson. North Carolina has one of the top quarterbacks in the country in Drake May. He's right now expected to be the second quarterback off the board if he declares for the NFL draft. I got into it with a Chicago Bears fan on Facebook yesterday. Okay. He, to his credit, he watches North Carolina football because he lives in North Carolina.
Okay.
His name is Adam. so people don't think I'm making him up or anything. I'm not going to put his last name out there, but his first name is Adam. And he's been swearing by Drake May for a month now. He's like, oh, if the Bears have the number 1 pick, they got to take him. If the Bears have the number 2 pick and Caleb Williams goes number 1, Bears definitely got to take Drake May number 2. And he's going on and on about how he's playing and how he looks, and he's got all the attributes for the next level for the NFL. Okay, I don't know. I don't really know how you can tell that.
Right.
But my whole thing was he hasn't played anybody this year.
That part.
He hasn't played anybody. This will be the first good team that he's played, and he starts arguing with me, it's a team game, and you're already giving him an out because if Clemson wins, you're going to say he's not worthy of a top 2 pick. And I'm not saying that.
Right.
I'm saying, speaking for me, I'm saying if he shows up and plays well and they happen to lose, I got something that I can kind of build on. If they lose 38-10, I don't want to hear, well, it's a team game. Well, you're on offense and you scored 10 points.
It's a fact.
And this isn't Clemson.
This ain't Clemson
a few years ago.
Right. This is not a dominant.
Clemson the last 2 years has been mediocre. They're not even ranked in the top 25 this year.
That's a fact.
Okay.
That's a fact.
So I'm not saying you gotta beat them, but you gotta look pretty good against them.
I agree.
And every team that he plays next year is going to be better than this Clemson team that he's going to play on Saturday by a lot.
Yeah, you're right.
By a lot.
You're right.
The worst teams are better than the best teams in college, and this isn't the best team in college. And he's going to go to a bad team next year.
That part.
You're going to a bad team. You've got to elevate everybody because they're going to make them start. These days, they make these rookies start.
So they make them start.
And if it was, let's say it is the Bears. If the Bears draft him, they're not keeping Justin Fields.
No.
So they're going to get rid of Justin Fields. And I'm sorry, I like Tyson Bagent, but he's not going to start over this rookie that either first or second in the draft. Mm-hmm. So that's how I'm seeing it. And he really came at me a lot to a point where I just couldn't talk about it anymore because he wasn't changing my mind, and I'm not changing his. Mm-hmm. Just curious, what's your feel on Drake May? Have you watched him a little? Have you done any research on him? Are you looking forward to this game? Do you see it the way I see it? Do you see it? You see him in a little bit of a higher light than I do? Because to me, what I put on there on Facebook was he reminds me of Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson had a lot of great attributes that people thought was going to elevate at the next level.
I agree.
But when you looked at what he did in college, he didn't really play anybody. And then when he played the better teams, they lost. He didn't play so well. But they're like, oh, you coach him up and you surround them with professional players. Mm-hmm. Well, we know now. We don't think, we're not pretty sure. We know now that Zach Wilson stinks. Mm-hmm. And he's barely a backup quarterback. Mm-hmm. Barely. He's been forced to start this year. He's a backup barely.
I agree.
Barely. So that's who Drake May. Now, again, I haven't seen Drake May, but I didn't see Zach Wilson either. And I'm guessing most people who watch college football didn't watch Zach Wilson at BYU. Mm-hmm. Unless you're from the Provo, Utah area. Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing most people aren't watching North Carolina football unless you're in the North Carolina, maybe Virginia, South Carolina area. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know that, but I'm guessing. So what's your opinion on Drake May? What you feel about him? Are you looking forward to this game? I don't want to really speak too much for you. You can speak for yourself. What's your thoughts right now on Drake May?
I mean, right now I'm on the same. I'm kind of on the same wavelength you're on. I watched a couple North Carolina games, and once again, it wasn't nothing that stood off the board to me. There wasn't nothing I'm gonna say like, oh snap, yeah, see TV. You know, yeah, I mean they're having a good year as far as North Carolina's concerned, right? But once again, they're not like dominating top 10. He's not putting them in the top 10. They're not a top 10 squad. You know what I'm saying? Or they might just crack 10. I'm sorry, they might just crack 10, right? But at the end of the day, you talking about going, like you said, going to a bad team with not a good O-line, right? So that means you're going to be underneath the gun and you have to make your team better, right? I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. And like you said, they have to go out there this week and beat Clemson, to my opinion, you know,
They
because
got to beat him.
they got to beat them.
He can't just play well. He's got to beat him.
It's not a play well situation. Clemson is not that dominant team of the past. Now, if they was the Clemson we have known, you know, for a couple years ago when they were top 5 type team, then yeah, obviously, okay, if you have a good competitive game and show me something, and it's different, I'd be like, okay, yeah. But this year, you got to beat Clemson. You got to beat them. So I don't care if you go out there and have a decent game against them. You know, nah, you got to beat them, especially talking about the number 2 pick. The number 2. Me personally, I don't think they should give up on Justin Fields. You know, I just don't think that y'all have built enough around Justin Fields for him to be successful. You know, I still think that he has upside. You know, we've seen flashes. And you talking about bringing a rookie, and what are you going to do that Justin Fields couldn't do? He ain't going to scramble.
He's not going to scramble as well.
Exactly. He's not going to create plays with his leg. You know. So what is he going to do where you will take him at the 2nd pick and give it to Justin Fields? That's my question.
Well, I guess the thinking is he is going to be able to run Luke Getsky's offense better because Luke Getsky has been brought up in a system, and the system is for the quarterback primarily to stay in the pocket and run that system where Justin Fields, his strength is to be on the move. And Getsy, because he's so devoted to the system, he doesn't adapt, he doesn't evolve, and he's not really playing to his current quarterback's strength. He's trying to do the square peg in the round hole thing. And the thinking is Drake May fits Luke Getsky's system better. And Getsky is probably not going to leave as long as Eberflus is still there. And there's talks that Eberflus has probably got another year to stay in Chicago. Listen, there's 7 more games. A lot can happen.
I mean, who
knows if Getsky at all, not Getsky, Eberflus is connected at all to these coaches that have been fired this year. 2 of them have been fired, let go. Hopefully there's no kind of connection between the running backs coach, the defensive coordinator, and anybody else. Because if Getsky's involved or Eberflus is involved, then those guys are out of there too, because there's still an investigation going on with that. It's just not really being talked about. So I guess we're in alignment with the Drake May. Listen, I'm not rooting against him.
Yeah,
I want him to do well. I want it to be a thing where, what they say, it's a good problem to have. Do you keep the guy that you like, or do you move on and get another guy that's rated higher as a prospect coming out of college than Justin Fields was coming out of college? Got to remember, Fields was the 11th pick. There were 3 quarterbacks taken ahead of him in that draft, and 1 right behind him, in Mac Jones. So, and you also have to think with Drake May, think about the bad teams right now that will be challenging for that 1st or 2nd pick. You got the Bears, because they have Carolina's pick, plus their own pick. So they're going to be up there. You got New England that's going to be up there.
Yeah.
Bad. And I think Belichick's going to be gone.
Yeah.
After this year.
Yeah.
Mutual thing, because they won't fire him. It'll be a mutual thing. Arizona right now, still. if they start winning a few games and Murray's
they
looking
might
good,
they might stick
then
with Kyler
they're going to
Murray.
be out of it. But I'm saying right
Yeah.
now today,
Um.
who am I missing? Giants.
Oh yeah, Giants.
Giants. They're going to be looking. My ideal situation, what I would love for the Bears to have the number 1 pick, Carolina's pick, the Giants to have the 3rd pick, and the Giants jump up and switch places with the Giants. Giants take Caleb Williams or Drake May. Who's ever picking second takes the other guy, and the Bears take Marvin Harrison. That's what I want. I want to keep Fields. I want him to do 5 years. I want them to give him his 5th-year option. I want him to
Marvin Harrison though. Woo.
You get Marvin Harrison Jr. on one side.
Oh, and
you have DJ Moore on the other side. You got Cole Kmet, who's turned into a very good tight end.
Yeah. And then you figure you could figure you could beef up their O line, because that would be my concern goes for the O line.
That's the other thing with the O line. So the flip side to this now, the rest of the season, is Justin Fields has the ball out. He's playing for his career, not just to stay with the Bears, but to put film out there for other teams. This is the best the Bears O-line has looked and will look the rest of the year. Right now, who they got their starting 5. In the offseason, they need to address the center position for sure. Mm-hmm. They could upgrade their left tackle, but they need a new center for next year. That being said, there's going to be very little to no excuses for Justin Fields. Getsky is his offensive coordinator. He's got to find a way to make it work. I want it to work with Fields. I do. But if he's up and down and they're losing, I could take the Bears losing as far as Justin Fields goes if he plays well.
Right.
Like the Denver game. He played well. They had a bad 4th quarter. The defense couldn't stop a runny nose, and they lost the game. But Fields put up good stats.
Indeed.
That's what he needs to do. But if he throws in a couple of clunkers and they lose, like they're playing Detroit this week,
right?
I'm expecting Detroit to win, but Fields needs to put up points. He's got to put up over 20 points. He's got to, be in this game for like a half, at least. The offense can't be the problem if they lose this game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I feel. That's how I feel about that. I mean, Drake May, I'm coming from an ignorant point of view because I haven't watched him. But what I've heard, the record, they're not undefeated either.
No,
they're not. No. So I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to this Clemson game. That's the game of the week for me.
Right.
Despite everything else, what's going on. By the way, Colorado losing again last week.
I mean,
the shine is off.
Oh, it's definitely off. It's definitely off, man. I mean, they did better than last year. They only won 1 game last year, so something to look forward to. Once again, you could get the hype, but you gotta live up to it. You know what I mean? So they came in with the hype the first couple games. It was cool for the university, and now reality kind of set in. And once again, we expected Coach Prime, and I think they was talking crazy about national championship. They was bugging. I said, man, come on, man. You tripping. Like, that's too much. Yeah. Now, will he get better? They're going to Big 12 next year. So that'd be interesting. And then once again, his recruiting class, hopefully he'll get the players he need to make his program go, because once again, you can see it on the field. If you watch college football, you saw it. They wasn't bringing no pressure from the front four, was bringing no pressure. And then the old line had Shador running for his life. Can't block a cold. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you have one player, which is Travis Scott. I mean, I like the receivers, but they're not going to be like NFL ready caliber receivers. They were, enough for just good receivers, but nothing where you're going to be like, okay, they're going to the next level, game breakers, you know. So it was what it was, man. It was just, you know, the hype in the beginning. It was a good story. It was good for the camp. It was good for college football. But then once you get into the meat and potatoes of that conference, man, listen, that conference was good. It's good this year. You're playing top 25 teams almost every week now. And then when you lost to Stanford, that was a team you can't lose to.
Yeah.
Once they lost to Stanford, bro, I said, nah, Deion can do with so much, man. You can talk all you want. You know what I mean? I can talk all you want. You're not playing the game.
Yeah.
You know? And then after a while, your players got to really, now I think that the thought of, man, after the first one, I was like, okay, how you bounce back from that Oregon loss, right? And that's when they didn't bounce back from the Oregon loss, it showed me exactly where they were at, you know?
Yeah.
And now it's mental.
Yeah.
It's mental. And you got to play a complete game. I didn't see a complete game all year.
Yeah.
All year. You know what I mean? So after a while, when you get to losing, now you really be like, oh, I'm just playing not to lose. It's a difference of playing to win and not to lose. You know, as a competitor, you know, when you have a dominant team, oh, you're playing to win. You're not playing to lose, you know? Which since we're gonna go to the NFL, because I gotta bring the NFL on that note, because I was super mad last week, right? Because I missed my team about one game, right? Because I don't know if it's me or you, right? If you're up 14 points in the fourth quarter, 8 minutes left, right? In any football game that you have been a privilege of watching or been a part of, my brother, don't you start running the ball? When you've been running effectively all game, wouldn't you run the ball with 8 minutes? Or would you have your quarterback roll to the left and try to thread the needle on the run? Dumb football, man. Dumb football, man. It's dumb football.
Time management, game situation. Time management, game situation. You gotta play to win. You gotta be smart.
Yeah.
You gotta use the clock. You have only so many possessions in the fourth quarter.
There you go.
Once you lose momentum, you've gotta make sure you keep it like a 2-possession game.
Indeed.
You keep it a 1-possession game. You can't start playing in a panic, and you can't be like, well, we wanted to go down and score a touchdown. Come on. We know on every possession you want to score a touchdown. What you really want to do is win. And you're right. When you're at home and you're up 14 and it's in the fourth quarter and it's and
college boys do this.
You overthink it. Then you got to take a timeout, not a literal one, a mental one, and just, you know, exhale, right? And see where you're at in the game and now play to win instead of, oh my gosh, you know, we just gave up these points so fast. We got to chase these points back and get them right back. No, you don't.
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 Run the football.
You wind up losing to a guy, okay, that hasn't played well all year, had his best game. His very first pass was a pick 6 in the game. Has a super great fourth quarter, and now he's out the rest of the year because he was playing with a broken shoulder and an ankle sprain.
Facts.
And you lost to that guy.
Oh, America, if you don't know if you ain't figured out who we're talking about, we're talking about Baltimore Ravens against the Cleveland Browns in a game where the Cleveland Browns was not supposed to win that game. Situational football, time management. There's no way in hell that you throw, excuse my language, no way in Sam Ham Houston that you throw a pass with 2nd and 8. For what reason? Pound the ball, make it a short third down situation, you know, and you could do a screen, you could do, I don't care what you do, just don't throw the ball 2nd and 8. Get close. You got the best field goal kicker in the game, Justin Tucker. Get in his range, kick field goals. You still going up. You still got 2 touchdowns you got to score, bro. You don't give him a present. That pick 6 was a present.
You got the best field goal kicker ever. I think I put him number 1. I put him ahead of Vinatieri.
Yeah.
I put him number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man.
I don't
That
either.
I know that was a tough one for you. I
It
mean,
hurt.
we both picked Baltimore.
And I was on
And
the
you know
fence.
what's funny, man? Our picks were great this
We
week.
were.
They were great. I went
Word.
9-5. I would have went 10-4. The Bears didn't cover. The Bears were 3.5.
I told you I like the Carolina for the points.
So I lost on the hook.
No.
And you went 10-4. You actually beat me.
Yeah.
You beat me.
Yeah, man. First week.
First, and I had a
week.
good week. I even text you. I'm like, I went 9-5. You're like, I went 10-4. I went back and checked. I'm like, this guy went 10-4.
10-4, brother.
Hey man,
Well,
this is a whole nother week to do picks.
Oh yeah.
I'm doing what I did last week. There are two games that I'm really iffy on. So I'm gonna let you pick, and I'm gonna take the opposite.
Oh man.
I got two games like that. Or is there anything else you want to get off your chest, NFL wise or anything wise, before we do the most anticipated portion of the show?
Just one last comment, and that's it. I'll make it very quick. CJ Stroud blowing out his mind, possibly get MVP. Not only we talking about rookie of the year, which I think he gets, and that's in the bag. We ain't talking about that. That's in the bag. He possibly can win MVP, man. If he keep playing the way he playing, I don't know. And maybe it's a stat you could throw out there. I don't know any rookie who has won the MVP of the league. I don't know in football.
I don't either.
I don't know that. I have to look.
Maybe back in the autogram days.
Probably that far. But they're comparing him and Bryce Young. I just think Bryce Young is a short quarterback. They knew that coming in. You know, he looks short. Like, he really do. I thought Kyler Murray looked short. He looks short and small.
He's thinner. He's
thinner. That's what it is.
Murray is like
he's stocky with the laced out, where he looks small.
Yeah.
You know? And he's getting killed back there in that field. He's getting killed. But once again, if I'm comparing to the greats of this game, right? They all went through the same thing. You know, Peyton Manning's, John Elway, you name it. I don't know, Dan Marino. I think Dan Marino came in with a good team, though.
He came in pretty good, but you're right.
Team. Yeah.
You're right.
So on that line, he's in line to be great if you're going off of that. Okay. I just think it's a better situation for us with CJ Stroud got drafted too, to be honest. D'Amico Ryans is a hell of a coach. He probably win coach of the year. He probably will win coach of the year. What he's doing out there.
It's between him and Kevin O'Connell.
And Kevin O'Connell, what he's doing out in Minnesota, great coaching. Especially with having the backup and doing what you're doing. Yeah. Defensively, you already know D'Amico Ryans is a defensive guru what he did in San Fran. And then fall off. So he got them boys playing. Last year, Texas wasn't really good, bro. You know? But now you look at this quarterback, man. He's solid, man. I mean, he is solid. He only threw one pick. One pick. Unheard of. Poised. O-line. But he has a good O-line, though. He's like, that's a difference. They have a decent O-line in Houston, bro.
Carolina.
Tunsil, Jeremy Tunsil. Line, right?
Yeah.
And Carolina don't have a good line, bro. So it's hard for any quarterback to throw, they have time to kind of pick you apart when you don't have time to throw the ball. So, we going to praise CJ Stroud for, once again, he's putting up crazy numbers. I'm not taking nothing from him. But it's unfair to Bryce Young because his situation is the same as his. He doesn't have the same supporting cast. He don't have the same a good defense, halfway decent running back, receivers that can make plays. You know what I mean?
He has Thielen.
Once again,
he has old
Thielen. You hear me? Whereas in the Texans, they got young receivers, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not fair, bro. That's not fair. So I just feel bad that, we got to keep comparing the 1 to 2 picks because of that, But it's a performance-based league. It is what it is, And let's get to these picks, man. I'm itching, man. Whew, I'm plotting on these things, man.
And here we go.
Go.
Thursday night, which is tonight, but I don't know anything with the scores on purpose.
Me either.
We got, and this is a good one. 8:20 Amazon. Cincinnati Bengals at your Baltimore Ravens. I don't even have a line on this because
I thought it was
when I looked it up, the game had already started.
Yeah, I thought it was 3.5. I think it started at 3.5. So if that's the case, Baltimore being a 3.5 point favorite, I would take Baltimore home. Hard place to play. I just think it's going to be a rough one for Cincinnati this year, especially when they lost to Houston. Those are the type of games I thought they were supposed to win. So being that they didn't win that game, it's going to be hard for them to make this postseason. So I like Baltimore in a bounce back game, especially the way they lost that last game. Yep. I like Baltimore tonight. I don't know winning, but I like Baltimore.
I think both teams losing last week, you got to go with the home team to bounce back.
Yeah.
So if Cincinnati was at home, I would have picked them, but it's Baltimore. If it's 3.5, I'm going with Baltimore. So we're in agreement there. Okay, Sunday, 1:00, your Dallas Cowboys against the Carolina Panthers on Fox. Carolina is getting 10.5 points.
That's a lot. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. I know
it's a lot, but I've noticed Dallas, when they get these big spreads, they cover.
No, it's a lot. But what I'm about to say, it's a lot for Bryce Young to go against. Like, we playing, especially bottom feeders, man. We dominate bottom feeders. Like the Arizona game, we just don't play good in Arizona for some odd reason, But Carolina, nah. I don't see how they could compete with us. And the way Dak is seeing the ball, and then you got to bring pressure on Dak and make him do some dumb stuff. The way we running the ball, it's just a recipe for a blowout. So I like this for the cover. Give me Dallas for the cover.
I'm in agreement. I think Dallas is going to kill them. They cover these big spreads, especially against these really bad teams, and Carolina might be the worst team. That might be worse than the Giants.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna think Dallas is gonna easily cover this 10.5. It won't matter that it's in Carolina at all. Okay, Pittsburgh. At Cleveland.
Yeah.
CBS. Cleveland is a 1-point favorite at home. And no Deshaun Watson for the rest of the year. Looks like P.J. Walker is going to make the start. They won with P.J. Walker.
They did.
So Pittsburgh has played much better at home than they have on the road.
That's a fact.
This is a big-time rivalry between these two, Cleveland and Pittsburgh.
But you know what? Pittsburgh has dominated this rivalry, though. Even with the teams they have now. You're right. P.J. Walker has won games for them. And they could rally around him, being that they lost Deshaun Watson. But I like Pittsburgh. And I don't like saying it too often, but I actually like Pittsburgh in the game. I think their defense is going to come to play. It's not Pickett by far, because Pickett, he been playing choppy at times, man. But I will go with him over Walker. So give me Pittsburgh.
I am in agreement. I see it the same way. I think Pittsburgh is probably in totality a better team.
Yeah.
I love Cleveland's defense, especially Myles Garrett. But I think this is a real letdown not having Deshaun. I think there were games that they could have won in the second. I think they were really on their way to making the playoffs. Now it's going to be very hard. If Pittsburgh's going to go on a run and make the playoffs, they got to win this game.
Indeed.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple.
So give me Pittsburgh to win outright. 1-point game. I mean, what are we talking about? All right. My Chicago Bears to play the Detroit Lions, the first of 2 meetings this year on Fox. Detroit is a 7.5-point favorite at home.
Oh, the hooker. I'm scared of that hooker, man. I'm scared of that hooker. They got Justin Fields. We know that they don't really play well against the run. Far as Detroit does it. Big game, 7.5. I'm actually gonna take the Bears, man, for the points.
You're doing exactly what I'm doing. If that spread was 10, I would take Detroit.
Yeah, but 7.5.
The fact that it's in half, and I lost out on it last week with the Bears.
Yep.
I'm not falling for it again.
Yep.
I'm not. I think Detroit wins,
Yep.
but I think they win by less than 8.
Yeah.
So give me Chicago with the points, Detroit to win outright. The Bears are going to have problems stopping Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit's got a very good offensive line.
They do.
And when they're running the ball,
yeah,
they're passing.
Oh man,
unstoppable.
And there's Montgomery, and this
Montgomery and Gibbs.
Yeah,
Montgomery and Gibbs. If they're running the ball, their good running will elevate their pass.
That's a fact.
The pass will be quick. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he might have 2 touchdowns, 180 yards.
Now what's going to keep Chicago in that spread where they could cover the spread? Being that you named all the things that Detroit's going to do.
The Bears have to sell out against the run. What Detroit's offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, who's going to be a head coach next year for somebody, his whole playbook goes around Detroit having success running the ball. If the Bears can sell out and say, listen, you can beat us one-on-one in the air, but we're having 8 men in the box, first and second down. Every first and second down.
Sort of like they did
and they minimize the run game, that will hurt the passing game on third down. That will slow them down a little. And I'm assuming that Justin Fields and the Bears offense are going to put up points.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying 30 plus, but they're going to get into the 20s.
Okay.
If they do that, then the final score might be 27-21, 27-24, something like that, because the Bears have a good field goal kicker.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they got to do it. They got to sell out against the run. If they can have run rumshot against the Bears and any facet offensively, then they're toast. Then Detroit's going to score in the 40s. Forget the 30s. They're gonna hit 40 plus, and they're gonna win by like 20 and easily cover it. They go there. They try and stop the run. They have some success doing it. I think the Bears can cover the number. That's just my opinion. Okay. We got the Los Angeles Chargers against the Green Bay Packers on Fox. Green Bay at home is a 3-point underdog. This is one of those 2 games that I haven't picked.
Yeah, it should be easy pick, right? It should be easy pick, right? It should be, Jordan Love actually played good last week. Like he was scary. Like that was one of the picks that had me on the fence, man, because he was marching them boys down the field, man. Like for real, they could have won the game. Man, this is hard taking the Chargers. I know I think they're the better team with the better quarterback. But man, they underperform, bro. But I'm gonna go with the Chargers, man. I'm gonna go with the Chargers on this one to cover, man. I think we could go in and it's gonna be hard, man. But if Justin Herbert and them boys could get going, man, and the defense could halfway step up and bring some pressure, I'm gonna take the Chargers. I like the Chargers.
Well, I'm going to take Green Bay just because you took the Chargers, like I said I would. Listen, if Green Bay is within any striking distance going into the fourth quarter, they're not only going to cover that 3, they're going to win.
They're going to win.
They're going to win because the Chargers head coach stinks.
He does.
And he blows these games late by overthinking and going for every single 4th down.
Yeah.
No matter what time of the game it is, no matter where they are on the field. I'm going to go with Green Bay. I think they got the better head coach. I think the Chargers have the better quarterback, but it's going to be in Green Bay, and it's probably going to be a little nippy now. I think the weather's starting to change a little bit.
Okay.
You know, we're past mid-November, so Wisconsin, they have different kind of weather out there.
They do.
So I'm going to go with Green Bay on that one. That's our first disagreement so far. Okay, Arizona at Houston, CBS. Houston is a 5-point favorite. I think we're going to see this one differently.
I like Arizona. I don't trust Houston in that position of being a favorite. You feel me? I think they thrive as an underdog, but I don't like them as the favorite. And I'm gonna tell you why I think Kyler Murray, man, why I actually had them boys playing decent. So yeah, I like Kyler Murray, man. Another bounce back game because I know everybody's gonna be on Houston because of what they did with Cincinnati. They're not going to think, they don't think the Arizona's going to come and have a shot with them and how they played against Atlanta, So give me Arizona for the points. Give me the points.
God. I thought we were going to be different, but no, we're the same.
Yeah.
I'm also picking Arizona with the points. I actually think they're going to win outright, but I got 5 points.
And you get 5?
This is an easy pick.
Yeah.
Both teams are going to be feeling themselves a little bit, but I think Murray, because of his experience, he's going to be more consistent. Stroud is going to be hearing not only Rookie of the Year, but possible MVP. Whoa! Slow down, Horsey.
I think he'll be solid. I think he'll be solid. Like, I think he's solid. He's so far, he's showing consistency. So I doubt it's going to be a letdown game for him. I just think that Kyler Murray is going to step up to the challenge of, because he plays when the other quarterback is kind of good, he plays up to his level. Right. That's one thing about Kyler Murray. He's a competitor. I give him that. Yeah. He's a competitor. So I don't see him going down there and just folding like Baker Mayfield, which actually had a good game. The defense let him down.
Yeah.
The defense let him down. Baker had a good game that game.
All right, he did. All right, so we're in agreement there. Arizona with the points. That's our pick. Tennessee at Jacksonville. CBS. Divisional game. Yeah. Jacksonville is a 7-point favorite. Now, they're coming off of a pretty bad loss last week.
They are. But Tennessee has always given them problems. It's something about Tennessee. And, when Jacksonville's expected kind of to blow this team out, right? Give me Tennessee for the points. It's not a favorite pick of mine, but I'm going to say give me the points. You know what I mean? Division game, give me Tennessee.
This is our first legit disagreement. I'm going to take Jacksonville. I think they're going to wake up off of their loss last week. I just don't think Tennessee's any good. It seems like every week the rookie quarterback for Tennessee is playing a little worse. He's putting tape out there, and defenses are starting to catch up to him a little bit. I think Jacksonville will cover the number. I'm going Jacksonville to bounce back from their loss last week and establish dominance in that division. Give me Jacksonville to win and cover. Okay, Las Vegas coming off of a win.
Okay.
Against Miami coming off of a bye.
Yeah, I already know I'm going with this one.
CBS, Miami is a 13.5-point favorite at home.
13.5?
13.5. Keep in mind when they've been a big favorite before.
I know about that, but you know what though? I ain't changing my thoughts. I was like in Miami. You feel me? I like what Antonio Pierce did out there, for the 2 games he won. But you gotta think they played the Giants and they played who they just played? Was it the Patriots?
Patriot.
Yeah,
was it the Patriots?
Yeah, it was the Patriots. Yeah, they beat the Patriots and they beat the Giants. Whoopie G. Willikers. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going against Miami. In Miami. On a bye. Another week for the defense to jail because that was the first week they came back when they played against Kansas City. They actually held Kansas City scoreless in the second half of that game once they got gelling, right? They're talking about the Raiders, who don't have a good defense, who has a backup quarterback who has to shoot it out with Toya. In order for them to win this game, they will have to outscore Miami, or the defense will have to shut Toya down. Do you see anything them scenarios happening? I don't. So give me Miami in a blowout. It could get ugly down there, man. Ooh. Yeah, give me. Yeah, you see what they did last AFC team that they played down there. They beat them 70-something. It was ugly. It was Denver. So give me Miami.
So I'm in agreement with you. This one was not as easy. To me, you're coming across like this was an easy pick for you. This was not easy for me because you're right about Las Vegas's defense.
You can run the ball.
But you're right. The Raiders can run the ball. They're playing better. There's a different vibe in the locker room. Right now, their head coach is a defensive-minded guy.
Yes.
So you would think he'd be able to make some adjustments. And although they don't have good defense, they do have a very good pass rusher.
They do.
That's the one guy on their defense. You know, a pass rusher can wreck a game.
You can.
You know, Tua, we know he's brittle.
Yeah,
you're gonna tell me Crosby can't get to him once or twice?
I agree.
So I'm in agreement, and I'm gonna pick Miami, but this was a toughie for me. But I'm gonna say when Miami plays these subpar teams, they cover the big number. So I'm gonna go with Miami. They're at home. It's still gonna be warm down there. Coming off of a loss and the bye, the Miami's pick for me. All right. New York Giants at Washington. The point spread is kind of high.
It is.
The game is on Fox.
It is.
Washington is a 9-point favorite.
The Giants are bad, bro. They're like really bad, you know. I can't think of no game they've been competitive in. Especially with Daniel Jones out and Saquon. They haven't had any run game go. The quarterback, I mean, against Dallas, it was bad. It was bad. We blew them out. I mean, that's Dallas though. Howell's been putting up. I mean, he's the leading passer right now. Sam Howell.
Well, he's throwing on every down. They don't.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they're not running the ball. They're not running the ball, and they're using running backs as receivers rather than running backs. So yeah. And it's a revenge game. They lost to New York in New York. New York beat them by 7. Give me the points, man. Give me the points. Is DeVito playing still?
Yes.
Oh, hell no. Give me Washington, man. Give me Washington, bro. I know it's a lot of points, man. You know what? Because when I first heard about this game, I said, you know what, man? That's a lot of points for Washington, though, man. And the Commanders, man, they haven't blown nobody out all year, man. You think about it. Even bottom feeders. You know what, man? I was on the fence of this game. Now I'm going my first instant game. Give me the Giants, man, just for the points. Hate to say it, but give me the Giants for the points. Yeah, we'll probably be in disagreement, but give me the Giants.
We're in disagreement, but let me tell you, I was up and down on this. But you said exactly why I'm picking Washington. Because I would have picked the Giants with the number, except the quarterback is DeVito.
Yeah. He ain't ready.
He's not an NFL quarterback.
No, he's not ready.
That's why they had him on the practice squad. And there is nothing else offensively they can do. You put 8 men in the box if Saquon plays. That offensive line stinks. So they'll be able to shut down the run in the first half. And Washington should probably beat them by more than what they're going to, because they'll probably go up 14-0, 17-0, you know, before the first half is over, and you'll be like, oh, they're going to win by, 25 or whatever. And it probably won't be. I think they'll cover the number. The number's pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
The The Giants have a pretty good defense, but when you're on the field, as much as they're going to be on the field in the second,
Yeah, you're tired.
they're going to get tired.
Yeah, Eric Bieniemy can coach.
I'm gonna take Washington, and you also got to remember Rivera is still trying to coach for his job.
Yeah,
He's still trying to. And if you're hoping to keep your job, you got to beat the Giants, and you can't just barely beat them.
yeah,
So
you got
he's
dominated.
got to cover this number.
Yeah,
Got to cover it. I think this is a must, not only win for Washington, but a must good performance for Washington. Because if they just squeak it out, that's what the owner's going to see.
yeah.
You don't care about the line. He probably doesn't know about the line. He wants to see, do I need to make a change in the offseason with the head coach? Well, this is a bad team they're playing. They already lost to him once this year. Did he make the changes to win it, to win big?
Yeah.
So I'm going with Washington because it's a must win and must big performance kind of game that they got to have. All right, 405. Oh, so we disagree on it. So that's our second disagreement. I almost picked the Giants. I almost did. 405. This is my other game that I didn't pick. So I'm going to go opposite you, whatever you say. 405 on Fox, Tampa Bay at San Francisco. San Francisco is an 11.5 point favorite.
I think they're in a groove right now, man. So give me San Fran. I don't think that was a fluke. Give me San Fran.
Well, then I will take Tampa Bay to cover the points. Well, not cover, but take the points.
Yeah.
So I think San Francisco will win.
Yeah.
But I think the last time there was a big point spread for them to win, I took it and I lost.
Yeah.
So no, I'm going to take Tampa Bay. Defense gets right.
I think for me, why I took San Fran because you still got to run the ball against them, and if you become one dimensional against that defense, man, they're going to eat you. And then by Chase Young being implemented, and then they could bring pressure on Baker, and Baker will cough the ball over, So yeah. And then you got to match them touchdown for touchdown, or the defense will have to step up majorly. And what you're seeing what Houston did to them, killed them. So I could see Brock Purdy doing the same thing.
The thing is, this is one of those games that looks too easy.
It does. It definitely does. It definitely does. When it first came out, I looked at it like, my instinct was like, I don't know about that. You know what I mean? This might be one of those games where you might get a backdoor cover for Tampa Bay. You know what I mean? Backdoor cover. Yep.
All right, so we're in disagreement there. I got Tampa with the points. San Francisco still to win outright. I'd be very surprised if San Francisco doesn't win.
Yeah.
425. This was a toughie. New York Jets, CBS, Buffalo Bills.
I know.
Buffalo at home is a 7-point favorite.
Spread, man. Give me the Jets.
Ooh. Well, we're in disagreement again.
Yeah, give me the Jets.
I think the fact that Dorsey got fired, there's going to be a little panic in Buffalo, and they already lost once to the Jets with all those turnovers week one. I think Buffalo has to win this game, and they have to look good doing it. I think Buffalo has to win and has to cover those points. Has to. I want the Jets to win, but I think Buffalo's going to win. So we're going to disagree on that one. All right. I like it. I like when we're disagreeing. Seattle at the LA Rams on CBS. The Rams are a 1-point underdog.
1-point underdog with the line?
At home.
At home. That means Stafford's playing. Give me Seattle. Still think they're the better team. Give me Seattle.
We're in agreement. Seattle's one of those teams outside of Baltimore. They usually travel well.
Yeah.
I haven't really, I caught a little. I've been catching a little bit of these Rams games. I'm not loving the play calling.
Me either, man. Last time I bet on the Rams, I got let down. The Green Bay game.
Right.
I really thought they was gonna come play. I mean, the backup played, but still, even with the backup, man, y'all went to Green Bay and even y'all look bad, man. Bad. So I can't rock with the Rams, man. They are who they are. Even with Matt Stafford there, they are who they are, man. And like you said, you know, I expected Seattle for that to happen in Baltimore. I thought it was gonna be a closer game, but I didn't think they was gonna win that game. I think they could beat the Rams. So
Right.
yeah, give me Seattle.
We're in agreement. All right. The night game, 8:20 NBC.
You already know.
Two teams that we thought a few weeks ago were dead.
Yeah,
And they have picked it up.
yeah,
Got to give them credit.
yeah,
Minnesota Vikings with Josh Dobbs. I don't know
yeah,
how they're doing it, but they're doing it. They are still in the playoff hunt against, surprisingly, the Denver Broncos, who I said a few weeks ago was the worst team in the
yeah. Me too.
NFL.
Me too.
Their defense has picked it up. It
Yeah,
looks like they got a system now with the Russell Wilson,
yeah,
and all of a sudden they're playing pretty decent. Beating Kansas City and all that. No, who saw that coming? And then they won again on Monday night against
right.
what was it, Buffalo?
Buffalo. Yep.
So Minnesota at
Yeah.
Denver, the spread is 2.5.
I'm actually.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I like what I'm seeing out of Denver.
I do too.
So I'm picking Denver
Yeah.
to win and cover that spread.
I'm in agreement with you, man. I was like in Denver before I even knew the spread was. I just think that right now, and I ain't taking up from Dobbs. I think Dobbs could go in there and possibly get it done. I just like the way that Sean Payton, man, is showing me that. I was big on Sean Payton. I thought that once you retire, you should stay retired. But it takes time to kind of build your system. And now I think that him and Russell's on the same page. Think about it, Russell hasn't been coughing the ball over. He's been making precise throws. The numbers are speaking for him. He's been accurate.
How about that pass to Sutton?
Oh, the Sun.
Pass to Sutton, getting those two
Oh no,
toes
that
in.
was just a great receiver making a play. Like that was a great receiver making a great play.
But he threw him open.
He did.
There was pressure on that play.
He definitely did. I thought it was going to be a throwaway, honestly. And then when he came down with it, I was like, wow, he caught that. So yeah, and then the defense, like you said, man, you going to Mile High, and that defense has been playing better. So I think they're going to get at Dobbs. You know what I mean? And then he's a backup, so you're going to show you what happens when a decent defense could get at you when you're a backup. So yeah, give me Denver. I like Denver.
We're in agreement. I like Denver too. I'm giving a lot of credit to Minnesota. They're finding a way to win. You're going to have two good defenses going at each other. But ultimately, I think Dobbs is Dobbs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason why he has been on 5 teams in a year and a half. But he's come to Minnesota, and he's done a great job so far.
Yeah.
Very small sample size. I'm going to go with the future Hall of Famer, Russell Wilson, on this one. Okay. Last game of the week, Monday night, 8:15, ABC or ESPN, I guess. It is a rematch of the past Super Bowl. Philadelphia Eagles at Kansas City. Point spread is 2.5. I could go either way on this.
I can't either.
I personally picked Kansas City.
Yeah.
Because they're at home.
Yeah.
They get the calls. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And I think they've been hearing all off season how they got the call to win the Super Bowl last year. And I think they're going to try and prove a point. Plus, supposedly, Taylor Swift is going to be at this game.
Oh, is she?
And Kansas City hasn't lost since Taylor Swift has attended their games.
I was just going more to the fact that I don't think that Philly secondary is as good as it was last year.
Oh, well, that's technical terms. I'm talking, what's in the air.
Yeah, what's in the air? I thought she was on tour, but okay, she is there. Okay, cool. All that.
But they say she is on tour, but they say she's going to be there for that game.
Okay. Well, I mean, I was like Kansas City anyway because I just think that, and I ain't taking them from Jalen Hurts because I think he still might be a little bit banged up. You feel me? Um, is Pat Mahomes. It's hard to bet against Pat Mahomes, man, especially at home. Especially at home, man. They find a way to kind of win, you know. Um, and then they're getting more people involved with the flow of the offense. You know, obviously Travis Kelsey, he's gonna do what he do. It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a good game, man. Like that's one of the games that Philly can go there and win. You know, but they only got one loss in the year, so this might be their second loss. You know, so just give me Kansas City.
I would not be surprised if Philly wins this game.
I wouldn't either.
And Philly really doesn't have the pressure that they need it, because even if they lose, they still have the best record in the NFC.
Right.
So they're going to be okay. Does Detroit have 2 or 3 losses? I can't remember.
2.
They have 2.
2.
Oh, so they'll be tied. They'll be tied with
Detroit because they lost.
Assuming Detroit wins this week,
which
we're assuming that.
We're assuming, because I mean, Justin Fields could do something special and go in there and beat them boys. And I
don't really think it's going to be about Justin Fields. I think it's going to be about the defense.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier. So, how many did we disagree on? I want to get that.
There's a couple, man. About probably like 5. Was it 5?
1, 2, 3, 4. Did you pick the Jets?
I did. So it's 5.
5. It is 5.
Yep.
It is 5. I don't like when it's 1 or 2 with you and me.
I mean, some of these picks of mine, I jumped out there a little bit, man, with this brick NFL crap. You know what I mean? I'm liking a lot of your picks. A lot of them joints. If I'm a bet man, I probably go on my betting ticket. I'm probably go a lot of joints you pick. You know, but it's just the NFL, man. It's a rigged league, man. When Baltimore did that bull crap last week, man, it just showed me how rigged it was. Like, come on, bro.
Come on.
It's the truth, man. It's the truth. It's the truth. There's no way. Come on, man. We watched enough sports over time to know that everybody knows this. When you up by 2 touchdowns, you're not trying to thread the needle anymore. You're running the football. It's clock management at this point. You know, you have to score 2 times, at least 3 times for you to win this game. If I run the ball and take off time every possession, what are you doing? I got the best kicker in the game. I'm kicking field goals, bro. Come on. You can't tell me it ain't rigged, man.
I hear you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that game cost you.
Oh, man. Yeah, man, it hurt.
I'm sorry about that. I feel for you. I do. But with that being said, that is our show for this week. We will be on our regular time on Wednesday at 9 p.m. next week. So catch us then. I want to give a shout out to my good friend Mike Horn, who is a faithful listener to the podcast. Thank you, Mike. He's also a Bears fan. So bear down, Mike. And until next week, brother, keep making those picks. Stay healthy. And we'll do it again next Wednesday. Deuces, y'all.
My man.
My man.